Okay, hello everyone. Around the world, whatever part of the world you're in, be it night, be it day, be it evening, be it morning, be it noon. Hello. I am Queen Poetry 73. I am coming back to you again with another poetry time. Um, this poetry is actually called The Nest. And again, so many years ago, I listened to a message from Bishop T.D. Jakes when he was explaining the nest. He was speaking about how an eaglet and why she built her nest at the edge of a cliff. Because the nest was built to prepare her for the birth of her eaglets. But then once the eaglets were birthed, they were meant to take flight at some point. So as they began to spread out, she ruffled the nest to make the nest uncomfortable. So when the eaglets moved, they would be uncomfortable. Okay? The sticks would stick them. So then the next move would be to move out, to take flight. And the only way to leave the nest is to fly. Okay, so yes. And then maybe a week or so ago, I met with my business planner, and he was talking about the eagle's nest and that he had actually seen one, and that it is as long as probably a kitchen table and as deep as it is wide. So it's not like the nests that we see high in the tree with the little birds, they nest during the winter, they hibernate, all that good stuff. Not those nests. An eagle's nest. So I took those analogies and I decided to write a piece of poetry called The Nest, in reference to those of us who have nesters, those of us who still have ones that nest in our homes, be it loved ones, be it your children or whomever, nesters. So for the sake of time, I'm going to get right into this video, and because I do have a midterm exam to complete. Okay, so yes, this one is entitled The Nest, and I hope you guys can grasp this because it's really in me. Okay, the nest was established before you came into the world. It was built as a safe haven for you to unfurl. The nest wasn't meant for you to lounge and play. If it were so, then you would want to stay. Even in your youth, the plan was put into place for you to grasp reality in which one day you would face. I believe that I have shown you everything in my ability, more than enough for you to have gained some stability. Although you may not learn everything overnight, your wings have been clipped for you to take flight. So my advice to the nesters is to learn all that you can, because the nest was built for you to become a man. Okay? So let's get it. Yes. Yes. The nesters. The nesters got to take responsibility. The nesters have to become accountable. The nesters have to own their truth. The nesters must take part in the plan that's been put into place, that's been established for them to move on to the next phase or the next level in their life. Okay? Now, I haven't done the stats on this, but for the most part, what I've seen over the years and from myself growing up is that girls seem to move out a lot quicker than guys. Okay? That's just in my opinion. That's not, facts. We can get into scientific methods and all that kind of stuff like that. And I'm doing some, researches. None of those things. Okay? And, but that's what I've seen. Okay? That's in my opinion, okay? But for the most part, girls and boys are eager to go to college. They may go to college because they, want to get away and, be free, at some responsibilities. Okay. But which is good, if it's what they're leaving home to do. Okay. So, and not to party, because, some of our kids have gone to college, away from college, came back unexpected. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And have not gone to college and finished out their degree. They came and went to college and did other things. Okay. So, having said that, that's just one, of the reasons that most kids do leave home. Okay. College is their way of escape to do grown-up things. But when the responsibilities hit, they come home quick and they call home quick. Okay. Yeah. They become kids again at that point. They're in need of what they thought they knew. Those bills come like clockwork. You don't need to be taught how to call Duke Energy, 1-800 Duke Energy. Call them, give them your name, and they will give you your account status. That's bottom line. Water bill, light bill, gas bill, and so forth. Okay? Those come like clockwork. Okay? So, every 30 days. And while I was thinking about this, you all know I love Tupac. And he dropped in my spirit, and you remember him saying, it's hard to be legit and still pay your rent. Oh, that's a true statement. It's hard to go out there and get all those things that you desire, and you've not kept overhead. You've not taken care of the roof over your head. It's hard to be legit and still pay your rent. You ain't got no money. You ain't got no means. You got to get up, get out, and get something. You know what I mean? Shots out to Big Boy and Andre. Okay? Shots out. Get up, get out, and get something. Okay? But for the most of us folks or parents out there, we desire to push our kids out of the house so that we could live our dream through their life. That's unfair. That's why most kids rebel. Because it's what you want them to do, not what they want to do or what they may have in mind to do as far as their career is concerned. Okay? So, the moral of this story is that learn all that you can. Because when you get on your own, the game changes. Okay, like Paul said, y'all know I referenced the Bible, and Apostle Paul's one of the greatest apostles that ever lived. And he was saying when he was a child, he did childish things, but when he became older, he had to lay down and lay aside those childish things. Okay? So yes, it is vital that you get your own things. It's vital that you get your own stuff. I can't preach that enough. Get your own stuff. Therefore, no one can argue with you, and you don't have to argue with them about your stuff. Period. Period. Okay? Because it's hard trying to run someone else's house. Run your own house. Okay? If I come and visit my daughter, if I go to visit my daughter or my son or whomever, I can't go in there and say, you need to do this, 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 and this. No, they're going to say, Ma, okay, talk to you later, love you, smooches, bye. But this is mine. They have every right, with all due respect. And what I need to do, get my things and leave, because that's not my house. I'm talking about the nesters now. I'm telling the nesters to get their own stuff. Do your own thing. Run your own house. Quit moving in other people's houses, trying to run their house, and you've not ran your own. Now, I'm not going to get into 2 Timothy. I'm not going to talk about, the silly women, that allow men to move in their house, and, they're moved by everything. They're learning nothing. Just letting some man move in the house, taking control. I'm not talking about that. Okay? They need to get their own stuff too. Okay? Moving in someone's house, trying to take over, with boyfriend, being a boyfriend occupant, but wanting to receive a husband benefit. That's out of order. We're not playing house here. I'm talking about nesters. Okay, yes. So that's a whole nother video. Anyways, let me get back on track. But again, like I said before, it's hard trying to run someone else's home. You need to run your own. Okay? All right, a lot of this will save a lot of heartache and disrespect and a lot of blood pressure and stress if you run your own things. Period. All right? Now, another moral of this story is that when you start doing things that you agree with and not the others, then you have to reside with that's evident that it is time for you to move on. That means if you decided to do things or that I've stated that you don't agree with, then that means that it's time for you to move on. Because we no longer are in an agreement. And the word of God says, how can two walk together except they agree? That is the word of God. Okay, so that means it's time for you or I to either one of us need to leave. Okay, it's time to move on and get your own things. And don't ever make someone make you feel wrong about your accomplishments, about what you've accomplished in this life. Okay? Don't let no one allow you to make you feel bad about being normal or because you've learned quite a few things. Now, granted, you'll never know everything in this lifetime that there is to know. And I remember Bishop Hatch would always tell me, everything that you know is not all that there is to know. Okay? So that's been understood. But again, most of the time, some people are upset because they don't know, enough. And they want to take the time to learn. But that's their fault. That's not your fault. They have to be accountable for their actions, be accountable for their learning abilities. That is not your fault that they've not stepped up their game or they've not came up to par in this, ability to learn how to maintain and dwell in their own space. Just as you had to learn it, they have to learn it. I know many years ago, we get upset when our teachers used to tell us, and a lot of y'all can attest with me, I got mine, you got to get yours. Y'all excuse my doorbell. But I got mine and you got to get yours. That is the story. It's time to get your own things. Be accountable for your own stuff. So the moral of this story is get your own things. I challenge you today to get your own things. Get your own things. Be encouraged, be inspired, be lifted. Be empowered. Take care of what you need to take care of. The things that God has entrusted you with. If you have little, then God will match that little and make that little more. As long as he sees that you're being a good steward over the things that he's entrusted you with. Be a good steward over what God has entrusted you with. Now, with little comes much. As long as you're being accountable, as long as you're being a good steward over the things that God has entrusted you with. So my challenge to you today is to think about the nest. Think about those nesters that are in your nest. And are they accountable? Do they own their truths? Have they been consistent? Have they learned? Have they taken into consideration the things that you've taught them? Or the things that they've observed you doing? To better yourself so that they can be a better person and be the better version of themselves. Again, I am Queen Poetry 73. This is my poetry time. The Nest. I want you all to be uplifted, be encouraged, be inspired. Most of all, self-love. Love why? Because he loved you first. So you can't love no one else until you love yourself. Until next time, I'll see you guys. I love you. Peace and I'm out.